A new Cold War chill is sweeping across the globe. Donald Trump has repeatedly snubbed key diplomatic talks, leaving allies frustrated and uncertain. Meanwhile, Vladimir Putin has stormed onto the international stage in full military gear, unveiling what Moscow calls a superweapon capable of rewriting the balance of power. This bold move signals that Russia is willing to escalate tensions, while the West hesitates.
As for the training of strategic offensive forces, we have once again confirmed the reliability of Russia's nuclear shield. Strategic forces are capable of ensuring the national security of the Russian Federation and the Soviet Union in full. We have already talked about this fact, which is well known to all military experts in the world. The so-called modernity of our armed forces, or rather the forces of nuclear deterrence, is at the highest level, or at least at the highest level of all nuclear states.
Trump's back-to-back cancellations of high-level talks have rattled NATO allies. What Washington calls schedule adjustments, European diplomats see as humiliating snubs, deepening cracks in the Western alliance just as Russia flexes its nuclear muscles. Diplomats warn that prolonged disengagement by Washington could embolden Moscow, leaving NATO scrambling to project credibility and deterrence in a rapidly shifting geopolitical landscape.
No, I don't want to have a wasted meeting. I don't want to have a waste of time, so I'll see what happens. But we did all of these great deals, great peace deals. They're all peace deals. They're agreements, solid agreements, every one of them. But this one, and I said, go to the line of battle, the battlefield lines, and you pull back and you go home, and everybody take some time off, because you got two countries that are killing each other. Two countries that are losing 5,000 to 7,000 soldiers a week. So we'll see what happens. We haven't made a determination.
Inside NATO, alarm bells are ringing. Military chiefs have convened emergency sessions to discuss long-range strike options, Tomahawk cruise missile deployment, and rapid mobilization plans. The goal is to project strength and unity. Yet officials admit that Russia's sudden military moves, coupled with Trump's disengagement, leave the alliance in a precarious position, unsure how far escalation might go.
What the president is doing today with these sanctions is putting more pressure, of course, on both parties, in this case on Russia. It's all about changing the calculus, making sure that Putin understands that the president's vision this weekend of having a ceasefire, stop where they are, as you literally said, that this has to be step one now. And for him to really accept that vision and to come to the table. And then you have to put pressure, and this is exactly what he did today.
In Brussels, EU leaders are debating the risks and rewards of using Russia's frozen assets to fund Ukraine's war effort. Behind closed doors, officials admit that any move risks provoking Putin's wrath in ways no sanctions can contain. Meanwhile, Moscow continues to send signals that it is prepared to escalate, keeping Western powers on edge and exposing vulnerabilities in their strategic planning.
But I think it's important, the fundamental message is that Russia is responsible for the damages caused in Ukraine and has to pay for those damages, and the frozen assets we have, the reparations loan on the basis of that for Ukraine to defend itself.
Those who are now trying to persuade our American colleagues to change their position and to abandon the pursuit of a long-term sustainable settlement, urging instead to simply call for a halt and let history judge later. We know who they are. These are Ukrainian President Volodymyr, Zelensky's European patrons and sponsors.
Then came Moscow's counterpunch. Putin, dressed in camouflage, declared that Russia had successfully tested a new nuclear-powered, nuclear-capable cruise missile, the Burevestnik, or Storm Petrel. According to Kremlin claims, this missile can fly indefinitely, evade all defense systems, and strike any point on the globe. The move has stunned military analysts worldwide and heightened fears that Russia is entering a new phase of nuclear brinkmanship.
How many kilometers? 14,000 km. How long was it in the air? About 15 hours. This is not a limit. It is not a limit. We will have to decide what this weapon is, what class it belongs to, what the new system is like. We need to determine possible applications and start preparing the infrastructure for the deployment of this weapon in our armed forces.
General Valery Gerasimov's briefing to Putin reportedly stunned even Russia's inner circle. The missile, he said, flew 14,000 kilometers over 15 hours, powered by a nuclear reactor, performing unpredictable maneuvers designed to outsmart Western defenses. The message is clear. Russia is demonstrating technological supremacy and sending a warning that any aggressive move could carry unprecedented consequences.
The technical characteristics of this weapon allow it to be used with guaranteed accuracy on high protected objects at any distance. In addition, during the flight of the missile, all vertical and horizontal maneuvers were carried out, thereby demonstrating its high capabilities of bypassing anti-aircraft and anti-missile defense.
This was Putin's second nuclear show of force in a single week, following large-scale drills involving Russia's land, air, and sea-based deterrence. The Kremlin's strategy is unmistakable: warn the West, assert dominance, and challenge NATO's ability to respond. At the same time, EU and NATO officials remain cautious, recognizing that overt retaliation could trigger a broader confrontation.
I heard a Belgian journalist on television say, "Oh, I have the impression that for Putin this money is already written off." I do not have that impression. This is not exactly what we hear from Moscow. Moscow has told us that if we touch the money, we would feel the consequences until eternity, which seems to be a long time, eternity. So they will do countermeasures. That seems to be very logical.
With Trump disengaged, NATO scrambling, and Russia unveiling weapons once dismissed as science fiction, the global balance of power is shifting fast. Putin's gambit is clear. While the West hesitates, Moscow dominates the battlefield, the skies, and the future of nuclear warfare. Europe and Washington are forced to reckon with a new reality, where Russian technological advances and strategic boldness challenge decades of established norms.